Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of Osoyoos Town Council, September the 3rd, 2019, 2 p.m. in Council Chambers. First up is the adoption of some minutes, the Committee of the Whole minutes of August the 19th, and the regular open minutes of August the 19th. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. Councillor Bennett, Councillor Rhodes. All in favor? Thank you. Business arising from prior minutes, nothing. And introduction of late items? No. Okay, so could we please have a motion to adopt the agenda as printed? Thank you. Councillor King, Councillor Harvey. All in favor? Thank you. No delegations, no water matters. We're almost done. And so we have a correspondence, a letter of a thank you from Desert Sun Counselling. It is included in the package. Do I need to read it? No. Okay. They're just thanking the town for helping them serve all the community members better. And it is from Marisa Tarr, the Executive Director. So that's very nice. Could we have a motion to receive? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you. Next is the five-year financial plan. Mr. Zackel.
Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. So before Council's 5-year financial plan bylaw 1349.02/2019, which is brought forward today for adoption. Section 165.2 of the Community Charter states the financial plan may be amended by bylaw at any time. 5-year financial plan bylaw 1349.02/2019 received first 3 readings at the August 19th, 2019 meeting, and an advertisement was placed in the Osoyoos Times notifying the residents of Osoyoos of the opportunity to express an opinion on the financial plan in the August 22nd and 29th issues of the Osoyoos Times. And at the September 3rd meeting, prior to Council's consideration for adoption, they'll be given an opportunity to provide an opinion. The purpose of the change to the financial plan is to add a project, the Osoyoos Child Care Centre Expansion Project, in an amount of $892,500, which is fully funded through the UBCM through the Community Child Care Space Creation Program funded from the province of BC. An opportunity for the residents of Osoyoos to express an opinion on the 2019 to 2023 5-year financial plan is to be provided by Council before consideration of adoption of this bylaw. So under implications, a significant amount of capital projects are planned for 2019 that will enhance the community and improve the infrastructure of the town and rural service areas. Organizationally, no changes. Under budget, update the budget to include changes referenced above. Significant dates, first 3 readings was given August 19th. Advertisement in the Osoyoos Times was on August 22nd and 29th, notifying residents of the opportunity to express an opinion on the 2019 to 23 financial plan was completed. Under sustainability, working to ensure maintaining levels of service for the community and financial sustainability for the town. And at this time, I would like to pass it back over to Mayor McKortoff to provide the opportunities for the public.
Thank you. Is there anyone seated here today who would like to come up to the microphone and speak about the 5-year financial plan? I'll ask for a second time. Is there anyone who would like to come and speak on the financial plan? And for a third time, is there anyone who would like to speak? Thank you. Hearing none, we will continue.
Okay, thank you, Mayor McKortoff. So the options before Council is basically for Council to adopt 5-year financial plan bylaw 1349.02/2019, or option 2, to defer making any decision until the next meeting of Council. And a recommendation from staff is option number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Zackel. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. I'll move staff recommended option number 1.
Thank you. Councillor King is seconding that. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. Way to go, Jim. Thank you very much for heading this up and taking us through this adventure again. I did want to add my thank you to everyone that was involved in it, which was almost 100% of our staff in some way is engaged in this process every year. And so I'd like to pass that on to everybody that was involved in it. Great job. Give us a little bit of guiding light and some principles for the next while. And yeah, good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The trouble is that Jim has done this so often that we just expect it. It's always good. Thanks, Jim. Is there a seconder for that motion? Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak?
I already seconded.
You already seconded, sorry. All right. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? All right, so we will vote on this. Option 1, all in favor. Against? You're not against? No, good. I didn't see your hand up. That was carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Zackel. Next is the zoning amendment bylaw. Ms. McKay.
Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. Well, it is actually with great pleasure that I bring this before Council today. So this is regarding a proposed amendment to property at 8322 Main Street to request that Council adopt zoning bylaw number 1085.113, which would, if adopted, allow for site-specific retail cannabis store to be located at said location. Now, Jana Michelle Howardson is the director for Maple Leaf Greenery Limited, and Jana is in the audience today. So the Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch of the Province of British Columbia will not issue a private retail license without local government approval or support. The provincial licensing process, coupled with our site-specific zoning provision, allows for a one-step process for consideration of cannabis sales in the town. Specifically, the comments received through the zoning process will be forwarded to the province for consideration. And just to let you know, so once we do the public hearing, I send those comments off to the province. And if you recall back, we didn't really have any comments at that particular public hearing. So the applicant is proposing to open a retail cannabis store at 8322 Main Street. This property has remained vacant for a few years aside from occasional office use. And there's the picture of the subject property. The text amendment is required as retail cannabis sale is not a permitted use within the town of Osoyoos. At the October 15th meeting of Council adopted the zoning amendment bylaw number 1085.109, which added the following section to our zoning bylaw. That is section 4.22. Council may approve a rezoning application for cannabis sales as a site-specific permitted use in the C1 downtown commercial zone, C2 shopping center zone, and C3 highway commercial zone with consideration of the policy PLA-019. I've attached it to this report, and any other additional information that Council deems appropriate. Accordingly, the applicant was submitted an application to rezone the subject property. According to the official community plan, the proposed use of this property for a retail cannabis store is considered to be in conformance with the OCP. At their September 4th meeting, Council adopted the cannabis retail sales site-specific rezoning considerations policy PLA-019, and the intent of the policy is to ensure that all rezoning proposals were reviewed based on the same criteria. As per the policy, the property provides for on-site staff parking, again depicted in the picture, Ms. Hilson, which is at the rear of the building. Customer parking is also available at Town of Osoyoos day-use parking lot at the corner of 78th Avenue and 85th Street. And as we all know, additional on-street parking is available on Main Street and 85th Avenue, as it is for other downtown business customers. So a public hearing was held on January 21st, 2019, and the applicant spoke and provided Council with information about her personal background and the intent to improve the building and be a good neighbor to existing businesses in the area. No members of the public spoke. Now, staff is of the opinion that location is suitable for the proposed use and will enable a new business to be established in the town of Osoyoos, and in particular in our downtown area. The community does benefit from a mix of commercial uses and businesses in the town center area. And organizationally, the town did receive approval from the amending bylaw from the Ministry of Transportation on February 22nd. Confirmation was received from the Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch on August 26th, wherein it deemed that the applicant was suitable for the retail license to be issued, and a positive recommendation from the town is now required in order for the province to issue the license. No changes to the exterior of the building are planned, and no development permit is required at this time. There are no impacts to the budget associated with this report, and the next step will be, of course, to forward the resolution of Council to Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch and advise them of Council's resolution. Town policy for commercial growth includes avoiding urban sprawl or sprawling development. So the options before council are today to resolve to adopt zoning amendment bylaw number 1085.113 or abandon the bylaw, and staff are recommending option number 1. That is, council resolved to adopt zoning amendment bylaw number 1085.113, 2018. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McKay. Can I say I found this a little bit confusing because I wasn't quite sure what order we were going in, and I'd just like to check with you. I do see that if a resolution is passed, it then goes to the Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch. Does that mean everything has been okayed up till this point? They're just now waiting for this from us?
That's
and
correct.
Then after that, what happens? What happens when if we do a resolution and we adopt it, it gets sent to this branch, and then what?
Then they're in a position to issue the license.
And they've already, everything has been done?
So I'm going to turn to Jana at this point
sure.
because she may have more information than we do.
If you say it's okay.
Would you be able to come up to the microphone, please, only because
Thanks, Jana.
this is on granite?
It's our first one we've done.
Yes,
I know,
yes,
mine
and
too.
we're a little confused.
So I believe that I've been through a process for almost a year.
I
Yes,
know.
yes.
So it's long and lengthy, but I get it. It's a new business. If you approve it, then they will give me an approval in principle, which means I'll be able to start building everything, which I've already started building some things.
That's just to clarify for Mayor and Council, that's the interior of the building, because there are certain specifications that are required,
Yeah.
such as things for the safe and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
for lockup of the product and
There's
stuff.
a safe storage room that
Yes.
we installed with a steel door. There's a safe in there. All the cannabis products have to be in there at night. We have top-facing jewelry counters. Everything is all locked. 10 times about 6 times the security of a liquor store because it's new. So if you approve this today, then they'll give me an approval in principle, which means I can go ahead and build to their specifications. They will then do a walkthrough
Okay.
after Neil comes back again.
Right.
And then it'll be issued after all that.
Right.
So
Wow.
a month
And
or so from,
That's,
I'm not sure.
that's a lot to go through before you actually get a license to open the door. And I get it,
yeah.
but this is new. So
Yeah.
this being our first one, we weren't quite sure. We knew that there was a procedure, and this had to be followed before this could happen. So, okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, did you have a question? Councillor Rhodes, did you want to ask?
No, I didn't. I was going to
Go ahead.
I'll move the staff recommended option number 1.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Thank you, Councillor King. Now, is there anybody who'd like to speak to that? Okay, all in favor of the motion? Carried.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very
May I break
much.
into a tap dance now?
Go ahead, we love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Okay.
I'll be in touch.
All right, next, overview, analysis, organization, bylaw. All right, we've done all of that. Next is
Report from you.
this is an expense meeting report. I went to the Highway 3 Mayors and Chairs meeting over in Castlegar about 2 weeks ago, and that is all of the people on Highway 3 that from Hope till the Alberta border. We will meet at UBCM as well, and we talk about what are the issues that we all share. We have a lot of meetings with the Department of Highways, and one of the things that we have really pushed this committee over the years is to try and get Highway 3, the Hope Princeton, the Whipsaw Creek and so on, I think, is one that we haven't done yet, but the rest of them, all those curves, there were 5 or 6 of them on the way, and I think 4 out of the 6 have been done and completed. They take a lot of money. However, the nice thing is that I was given this the other day, and this is British Columbia presents the Hope Princeton Highway, at November 2nd, 1949. So, in fact, it's 70 years old, the Hope Princeton Highway, and there's all of the people who were at the opening ceremony and so on. So this was kind of interesting because the mayor of Hope had these printed off again. So I will certainly pass this around to staff and council here. So that's where I was over in Castlegar, and there is an option to, when any of council goes out of town for a day, there's a per diem of $100. So that's what I'm asking for here. Oh, so moved. Okay. Do you want to have a look at that? Councillor Harvey and Councillor Rhodes. All in favor? Thank you. Next is the DaCosta sponsorship letter. Is that you,
Yeah,
Mr.
Your Worship,
Chabot?
in Mr. Davis'
Okay.
absence, I'll read this one
Go
for
ahead,
you.
please.
So at the last regular meeting on August 19th, Council received a sponsorship request from Tyler DaCosta, raising funds for a memorial bench for the late Blake Sewell. Council referred that request to staff for a report to bring back. It's noticed that other part of the fundraising was a wrestling event that was held this past weekend at the Legion. Don't know how that went. If not, it's unfortunate that the request in the report with the recommended support for the bench comes after the opportunity to have mention on the banner and the logo and local media. But staff still think it's a worthwhile endeavor to support the request. Because the request didn't include a monetary amount, staff contacted Mr. DaCosta, and he'd indicated an amount up to $500 would be greatly appreciated. Staff broke down the cost of a memorial bench. Total cost is $1,760. $350 of it is to install the concrete pad on which the bench is affixed. Staff recommend that City Council funds the pad installation for the bench at a cost of $350. And they note that there are funds available in Council's grant and aid budget to cover that amount.
Thank you very much. So that would be option number 3 in the options down there. It's Councillor King. Pardon me.
A question?
Go ahead.
I don't know if you can answer it, Mr. Chabot, but where's it going to be located if this moves forward?
I would like to answer that. I'd like to say
Hang on, please. I'm sorry that you can't speak unless at this meeting. Okay. Did you wish us to find out about that?
Yeah, I'd like to, because sitting on the accessibility committee, the group there's kind of been talking quite a few times now on the canal pathway, and I don't know if that would be receptive to the people requesting this bench or not. Or I'd like to hear where they're proposing to hopefully put it.
So, Council, are you all right if I invite this gentleman? Would you please come up to the microphone then?
no.
And could you give us your name and answer the question? Thank you.
My name is Tyler DaCosta, and I would like to have the bench placed at Cottonwood. I've looked, and there's some spots in Cottonwood that we could put it, that I would like it. It was his spot, and it would be nice if we could fit one more in there.
And I'm not exactly sure how that goes because it's not up to us to decide where the benches go. It would have to be the people at the Sonora Center. So would that be preferable, Mr.
Well,
King?
I totally support the bench. My understanding, there's actually quite a few benches there. There is a need for more benches on Canal Pathway. The committee's identified that from the Accessibility Committee, and they'd love to have it. That canal walkway is very well used.
And I want to make something else clear too. It says 1760 in the report, but when I went and looked into it further, they're quoting 3,000 plus taxes.
I think that's what is proposed in the future. I'm not sure that that's what the cost is right now.
It is as of the 29th. Because as of the 29th of August, when I went, I have the papers here, and it says 3,000.
Then that's really been updated because it's 1760, which is
I
talked about
have
a month
it if you
ago.
want to look at
Yeah,
it.
no, I appreciate what you're saying.
So my question to council is, what would I get charged for the bench? The 3,000 or the 1760?
I'm not sure. Mr. Chabot, I would assume because the report says the 1760 that that's what we would go by, but
Yeah,
would you?
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
totally unaware that prices had changed, but
Yeah.
if we'd offered to
Because
do it at
if
that,
you
I
guys
think we should
give it to me
honor
at $17.60, if you could just donate the $350 pad,
that was what has
that
been.
would be what I would be asking council to adopt today.
Yeah.
That's what we're recommending.
That's what we have recommended here in the motion. So thank you very much for
Thank you
coming
very
up
much.
to the microphone. So now where are we at? Do we have a motion yet?
Not
No, we
yet.
don't. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. I'd like to just maybe wordsmith the number 3 option that's recommended and add $150 cash so that the total would be $500 for that.
Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Bennett, could you explain what you mean by that, Councillor Rhodes?
Well, I kind of felt that the $500 level was something that I was quite happy with. These folks have stepped up to the plate. As I mentioned at the last meeting, I knew Blake quite well. Not always agreeing with everything, but he was very, very proactive at testing council on many, many things regarding youth in our community. So I always had and just to repeat myself, I didn't always agree with him, but I certainly had a lot of respect for his motivation in trying to correct a lot of inadequacies in our community and that kind of thing. So I'm totally supportive of this. I think $500 in total, $350 for the pad, and $150 in cash is something that we can afford. Our new CAO indicated that it is achievable through our RMI funding, and I feel that it's fair and reasonable.
Grant and aid funding.
Oh, pardon me,
I think
grant
so.
aid, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Councillor King?
Yeah, I totally support Mr. Rhodes' comments. I just struggle with who's going to decide the final location.
I have a feeling that it's up to the people at the Sonora Center because you can ask, but you don't.
Mr. Davis?
It has to be Mr. Shannon, I think it is, that's.
Mr. Davis.
Mr. Davis?
Yeah.
All right.
And Mr. Brownstein.
Okay. So we would, the recommendation would go that what the Tyler would request, but it would have to be left to the Sonora staff. Okay, so we have it moved and seconded now that we go with, are you changing the wording in option 3 or are you going with option 1?
I like option 3, as I indicated. I just wanted to add $150 cash to the end of that.
Okay, you've got that? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. That's carried. The no notice of motion. And next is the general net payroll and Sun Bowl Arena financial accounts. And to report on expenditures in those 3 areas as of September the 3rd, 2019. General cash requirements of $352,626.04 and Sun Bowl cash requirements of $1,839.49, and those would be approved by consensus. And payroll accounts of $115,014.35, and that would be received for information. Next is committee reports. No, we don't have any. And we have a CAO report from our new CAO, Mr. Chabot. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Been here just over a month. This is my first regular meeting, though, and learning how things are done here. And so this CAO report, I wrote up a summary, and I asked the department directors to provide me with some of the highlights over the past couple of weeks. And it winds up being a report that runs 4 pages. So it isn't my intention to read it all to you. I understand that this gets appended to the minutes for the meeting. Is that right? So that you can go back and look at it in detail. I'll review a few of these items. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I know it's 4 pages, don't read it all, but if some of the highlights perhaps, because people I think are used to hearing a little bit about what's happened.
Certainly.
So, go ahead.
Okay, so some of the priorities for me is reviewing town policies and procedures, bylaws, budgets, financial plans, reviewing and discussing the implementation of priorities, capital and operating in the fire services master plan and budget. As council knows, we've got a new full-time fire chief, and he's got quite a worksheet in front of him, the fire master plan that was created prior to his hiring. And so spent a lot of time with him. I've gone and done site visits of key town facilities, trying to familiarize myself. And all this information comes at me at the pace somewhat similar to trying to take a drink from a fire hose. But I visited Sun Bowl Arena, the Sonora Center, the tennis and the pickleball courts, the dog park, desert park, sewage treatment plant. Amazed by the scope and the scale of that facility for a town this size. And it's the storage requirements in the non-irrigation season that creates the large scale of that project. Been to the public works yard, the sanitary landfill site, the fire hall a number of times. Been reviewing staff reports for the agenda, draft agreements, leases, operating agreements, extraterritorial service for water agreements. Met with a representative of the Soyuz Indian Band. Spent time with each of the department directors, getting a sense of their priorities, I guess scope of work, capacity, departmental organizational issues. That continues to unfold as I work on a plan. So in the list of other items, community services indicates that the Cactus Kids Day Camp has ended, and they want to send out thanks to the summer students for doing a great job. The fall program and activity guide has gone out to print. Hard copies are scheduled to be out the first week in September, so I guess they should be available this week, if not already. The last Family Splash was August 14th. 150 people showed up. Thanks to AG Foods for sponsoring that event. There's a Sun Bowl condition assessment RFP out for proposals. Looking to look at the electrical, mechanical, HVAC, structural on that building and come up with a plan to maintain it going forward. There's been an agreement with Garaventa Lift to install the elevator lift at the Sun Bowl Arena, and the preparations at the site are underway. Direct digital control for Sonora Community Center has been awarded to Care Service Systems Limited, and that's an HVAC control system that optimizes your building and hopefully reduces your operating costs. Gives you clues as to needed maintenance and repairs. The annual pass sale is on from September 11th to the 18th, and it offers 30% off annual passes to the Sonora Center. Participate Soyuz is scheduled to run September the 11th from 5:30 to 7:30, and I guess it's a chance for community groups and organizations to showcase what they do and recruit new people to participate in the community. I guess it's a volunteer drive, is it largely? Somebody
It's
know?
a lot of sports things and community groups that want to drum up some business.
Okay. Corporate Services Department, those folks are busy preparing for a by-election for water councillor. Nomination packages are available. Ms. Hilson is the Chief Election Officer for the by-election, and nominations will begin received on Tuesday, September 17th, and it'll be open until Friday, September the 27th at 4 p.m. General voting day for the by-election will be November the 2nd in the council chambers, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Same hours for 2 advanced voting opportunities, both on Wednesdays, Wednesday, October 23rd and the 30th. And again, in the council chambers, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. As council knows, there was an issue with the transit service and proposed changes to service. The corrected version of the BC Transit Riders Guide is now available at the town office and posted on the bus stops. There's information also on our website. Corporate Services staff are working on a couple of Freedom of Information requests, working on municipal ticket files, and they'd like to thank the Seasonal Bylaw Enforcement Officer, Kirsty McInnes, and the Park Ambassador, Aaron Stanton, whose last day on the job was yesterday. Financial Services has posted an RFP for the financial audit with BC Bid, making preparations for the annual property tax sale. And I think in terms of preparations, often that involves trying to clear up the delinquent accounts and avoid the need for a tax sale and help people get things straightened out. I'm busy reviewing accounts. Sent off a request for the Inspector of Municipalities to approve the loan authorization bylaw for the local contribution to the rural water twinning project. As I mentioned, I've been working with the fire department. The chief has been working on strategies to implement the master plan, including reviewing his budget, his capital plans. Likely council will see an amendment to the financial plan to move some amounts around so that he can focus on the more high priority items first, and a deferral of some other planned capital until a little bit later, till we're prepared to make those expenses. He's also working on firefighter training and trying to improve that process and the skills of the rank, and coming up with a strategy for recruitment. Move towards full 1001. We may have some members withdraw. It's a pretty rigorous training program. It requires a real serious commitment, and so he's been working really hard on those plans, and also been responding to almost all of the fire calls that have been going on in the community, including a couple over the weekend. In the Planning and Development Services Department, they're processing a number of applications, including some for 4plexes and a 5plex, which are at building permit stage within the town center area. Preparing for the OCP public consultation with a kickoff event on September the 12th at the Sonora Center. Folks are requested to register for that event, and they can do that on the website at Choose Your Osoyas. Guess we're scanning building permits for filing, updating things and digitizing our records, modernizing it, which would be great. They've also submitted an application to the Rural Dividend Fund. If successful, it would fund the creation of an economic development plan. There are 7 applications for the provincial nominee program, which I don't know a whole lot about. It's a provincial program that lets people immigrate to Canada to start new businesses.
That's correct. Thank you, CEO Chabot. Yes, council's fairly aware of it. Actually, as of this morning, we've got 4 more Skype interviews scheduled and 2 more planned visits. So we're getting quite a bit of interest in the area. So the idea is just for any members of the public that might be watching today, because it is pretty exciting. They're required to start a new business. They can't purchase an existing business. So it's really exciting for our community. Thank you.
Okay, good. Still learning. Sorry, if I'm taking too long, let me know.
No, go ahead. We've got lots of time.
Okay, good. Yeah, short meeting. I'll try to
We're
fill
not
it.
all like this.
So they've been 54 building permits issued for the year to date, and there's a couple of new applications for 56 applications having been made. Construction value currently sits around $15 million. There are 9 new townhome units under construction with an application for at least 4 more on the way. 8 new single-family building permits were issued so far this year, and work continues on 34 single-family dwellings that permits were issued for last year and are nearing completion. Home Hardware Building Center is 24,000 square feet and under construction. Looks like they've got the building envelope sealed up. They'll be working on the interior now. There's an addition at the Super 8, 36 units being added. They've completed 75 fire safety inspections this year. There are flood repair issues and retaining wall issues. I assume those are some private retaining walls?
They are.
Okay, because everyone's well aware of the Cottonwood
Yes, they are.
Park wall. And they continue to have discussions regarding the museum's upgrade and a relocation. And on the bylaw, planning and building staff provide assistance to bylaw as required. Operational services, it's an awful lot of system maintenance on water and wastewater, service locates, completing confined space assessments and training for our staff. There's been a lot of work on occupational health and safety in the department of late, so that's good. Continue to clean up beaches, but I think the beach cleaner continues to experience problems. As council knows, a new one will be ordered soon, hopefully in service for the spring next year. A new self-contained washroom has arrived to be placed up by the tennis courts. It's sitting there now. I'm not sure if it got lifted onto its tank that it sits on, but a nice looking unit. I guess there's been some repairs to the side stairs at the art gallery. There's been some vandalism of the gazebo at Cottonwood Park, which resulted in the picnic tables being removed because they're being stacked in order to gain access to the roof and to break roof tiles. The main wastewater lift station construction is supposed to start this week. The Cottonwood Park wall, we're doing a change order, and construction of that is probably going to be delayed until the spring of 2020. Fleet, again, the fleet and the mechanics have been in discussion with the fire chief. We'd like to get our mechanics certified to work on fire apparatus as well, maintain that equipment, and be a little bit more proactive respecting the fleet maintenance and compliance. The operations has been meeting with the Regional District of Okanagan, Similkameen, and member municipalities regarding solid waste, some recycling issues and concerns. That's one of the facilities I visited, and I'd really like to find a way to deal with some of the litter that's blowing off the site, off the active face of the landfill and into the adjoining areas and through the fence into the desert. I think we need to do that. That's about it, Your Worship.
I think you've had a busy month.
There's been lots of learning. It's been wow.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chabot, and welcome to Osoyoos. Could I have a motion, please, to receive the report? Thank you. Councillor Bennett, Councillor King, all in favor. Thank you. And we'll now go to council reports. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Member McKortoff. Just a couple of things. Well, way to go, Alan. I expected you to be a lot more nervous and shaking and everything, and your self-confidence really shows, and yeah, so way to go. This morning at our Committee of the Whole meeting, we had a very large delegation appear in front of us regarding sewer odor in a lot of areas in our community. And I didn't really want to dwell on the odor part of it too much, but I wanted to let everybody know that was here this morning how much I really appreciate everybody coming out and how much respect I have for people to stand up and say what they think and mean what they say. And, you know, so often when you interact with councils, there can be a lot of contentious issues going on. They can be combative, and they can be caustic in some circumstances. The delegation that was here was large. I'm not sure how many. They kind of cascaded out through the hallway and outside, so he wasn't able to get an accurate count, but there was a lot of folks here from the town. And, you know, everybody was very, very respectful. I think everybody was very understanding about what's going on, and it's going to allow us to, you know, move forward with this thing and not be so combative and caustic about things in our community and that kind of thing. So all of those words are just, you know, my gratitude to everybody that showed up and was engaged and involved in it. I know there was a lot of people that could not attend this morning because they, you know, had work commitments and family commitments and that kind of thing, but a good crowd. I think a lot of positive things came out of it, and the engagement between council and our residents is so important in our community. Ideas and our opinions are what drive our council, and we certainly got an awful lot of them this morning, so I just wanted to express my gratitude towards everybody that was here.
Thank you, Councillor Rhodes. Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just got to say a big shout-out's got to go out to the Music in the Park Committee, the three amigos that put in countless extra hours of their volunteer time to arrange the best entertainment we can get for this town for the dates that are allotted. So again, just thank you very much for the committee, and also just all the people that show up to show that there's a need in the town for some entertainment.
Thank you. Councillor Bennett.
Well, thank you. I attended Friday night the art gallery open house. It was very well attended. A lot of great artists, a lot of amazing stuff in there, and a lot of people. The building itself is phenomenal because you went this long and looks narrow, and then you get in and they have all the skylights, so it really highlights the pictures and shows the amount of really skilled people in the area. And then after, again, went to Music Park, see Mr. King there, and have to agree that's a great thing for Soyuz, and have to agree with my colleague here of the people that are here this morning. I think it's good they step up and are willing to come in and stand up and tell us what they feel.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Harvey.
I have no report.
Okay. Thank you. So I have a couple of things. I attended most of the music in the park. I think I only missed one of them out of 10. It's supported by the town, so I went. They always saved me a spot up at the front, so I sort of had to be there. I'd be visible. And it was excellent. It was about double the number of people who not always danced up on the lawn. Some of them chair danced too. That would be me. I wasn't up dancing on the lawn, but it was a wonderful 10 weeks that we had this. I know that the Three Amigos are getting ready to come to council and give us a report and ask us to continue the funding for next year. They're a great group. Janice and Debbie and Roland, and the highest number that we had down there was 925 one evening. So that was pretty good. So it's very well used, and I just want to say thank you to all of them. Councillor King, no, it was Councillor Bennett, who was at the art gallery. Councillor Bennett was at the art gallery the other day. I was there as well. We have 2 art galleries in town, and one beside Shoebiz and the other one right here beside Town Hall. They're both very well used. There's lots of things on. There's a special grand opening at the art gallery here this weekend, and there are so many people in this town that are artists, not only painters and potters and woodworkers and quilters and performing artists and musicians. We are extremely lucky to have a really well-organized group of people that put on lots of entertainment for us. So we're lucky about that. I already talked to you about the Highway 3 Coalition, 70 years. Today is the last day that you can go online. It'll take 15 seconds to do the Make Water Work pledge. And it's today at midnight. It closes. And on Friday at the Okanagan Basin Water Board meeting, I have to award the community who had the most per capita, and I'd quite frankly like to award it to Osoyoos, but I need all of you that are watching on your computers right now or who have not done this to go online. Seriously, it's easy. Councillor King just did it, and it takes 15 seconds to do this, and we get counted. So please do it right now. And I just want to say that Choose Your Osoyoos is what Ms. McKay was talking about, and it's a way for you to give your input, and it's next Thursday, the 12th. It says right on here, the Sonora Center, but you have to go online and register, otherwise there might not be enough food. So,
and when you go online to register, you'll also see that you can take the survey.
That you can do what?
There's a survey online.
Oh, survey online. Yes, I did that. Okay, so please have a look at this. It will be in the paper. It'll be on the town website. Do that as well. And I know from people in Osoyoos, the last thing I want to say is that lots of people in town work really hard to accommodate all our visitors and all their own personal visitors and all our tourists in the summertime. And now it gets a little bit quieter and people can breathe, and sometimes they can turn left on Main Street instead of always turning right.
Yeah.
And that's how they market. I always think that September is an absolutely beautiful month in Osoyoos. It's warm, it's sunny, the flowers are out, and it cools off a little bit at night. So enjoy September in Osoyoos. Thanks very much, everybody. And could I have a motion, please, to adjourn the meeting? Thank you, Councillor King, Councillor Rhodes. All in favor? Thank you.
Do I have to bring my ticket on Thursday night to get in the door?